What is going on, everybody? It's Matt Marchese, also known as Islanders Daily. Your daily news from the four-time Stanley Cup champions, New York Islanders, and the New York Islanders go into the Prudential Center and hand the New Jersey Devils their first loss at home this season, and a great win by the New York Islanders. Is excited. I can't find my hat. I know I'm always wearing my hat on the channel. I can't find it right now, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to roll with just the hair right now. But yeah. The Islanders go into the Prudential Center and upset the New Jersey Devils. And the Islanders played, I want to preface by saying the Devils are an unbelievable team. That talent on that team is just unbelievable. And the Islanders played the game they had to play to beat the New Jersey Devils. And obviously, there is some questionable things in there that I do want to talk about, because obviously the elephant in the room is the Devils scored that goal with about 4 seconds remaining in the game, and this game should have been won in regulation by the New York Islanders, but Alexander Romanov continues his disastrous season where he does not pin Jesper Bratt up on the boards. I don't know what he was doing there. I just have no idea what Romanov was thinking. He was afraid. He was soft. He was soft and backed up from Jesper Bratt, and it allowed the Devils to score that goal that just took a crazy deflection off like three bodies and found its way to the back of the net. And yeah, Alexander Romanov's just been horrible. Big disappointment, and I know there's going to be a lot of good to talk about, but a lot of good comes from the forwards in this game. I think that Mayfield, Romanov, and D'Angelo played absolutely horrid games and were saved by some solid games by Polak, Pelech, and Matthew Schaefer, of course. Obviously, Polak nearly had a play in overtime that you wanted to rip your hair out. We'll talk about that a little more when we get to the goals. But yeah, just not the best season from Romanov. And, again, the Devils got a power play because Mayfield was backing up. So I know the Islanders won, and I'm talking crap. I just wanted to get the negatives out of the way first so we could talk to the positives. And that goes to like Mayfield fumbling the puck with Romanov. And obviously you can't put those two guys together, Romanov and Mayfield, because they'll make you lose your mind instantaneously. And Tony DeAngelo just has not been playing good. And then my only other negative for the game is the fourth line is not good. Every time they're out there, it feels like it's an opportunity for the other team. I think the Maxim Siplikov experiment is over. I don't think he is, going to do it for the Islanders. Casey Cizikas is just old, and Cal Ritchie was doing what he could do on that line. So that's all the negatives out of the way. Now that we have the negatives out of the way, we can finally start talking about the positives. And the positives are the offense and the special teams had a very, very good day today for the New York Islanders, and that's what they needed. Obviously, the Devils went 1 for 4 on the power play. The Islanders only gave up the one goal for the Devils on the power play, and that's a very good power play team the New Jersey Devils have. So to just kill, 3 out of the 4 is definitely a success in my eyes. And then the Islanders, who only got one power play in that game, would score on it. A huge goal to take the lead late. Unfortunately, the Devils would erase it. But just a great, great movement on the power play, and the Islanders capitalized. And my favorite part about Matthew Schaefer's game is he's not afraid to shoot the puck. He finds the open lanes, he fires the puck, and it somehow always finds its way through. And if it doesn't, it gets blocked down in the slot area, and it's really no harm, no foul. He never takes those shots where it gets blocked right up by the blue line, and it could potentially lead to a breakaway. So Schaefer is just very, very smart with his shot selections and doing all that. And then obviously, Bo Horvat continues to be Bo Scorvat this season as he's just on fire. And an underrated part of this play is it might have been a penalty by Emil Heineman in interference, but when his stick snapped, Heineman did a great job of just like pushing Luke Hughes into the boards and the referee without making it seem like he was doing it. It was very subtle by Emil Heineman, and it allowed Horvat to squeak through. Palmieri put a beautiful pass onto the tape, and Horvat made no mistake about that and put it in the back of the net. So Heineman might be my star for that goal right there. Taking, possibly a good little pick he did there that the refs didn't call. And yeah, that was just very underrated play right there by Emil Heineman that I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about. I'm sure the Devil fans will talk about it in a different reaction than me. But yeah, they continue to play extremely well, the Bo Horvat and, Emil Heineman and Kyle Palmieri. And then next up is, Ilya Sorokin What a game by Ilya Sorokin tonight. And this is the Sorokin we've been asking for. That's now 3 straight solid starts for Ilya Sorokin. And I think he actually had a 3.04 goals saved above expected in this game, meaning that the Devils should have scored 3 extra goals on Sorokin, and they didn't. And yeah, he was just unbelievable tonight. He made the big saves when he had to make the big saves. He was shutting down Jack Hughes. Obviously, both goals are not his fault. The first one on the power play, the Devils were just peppering, having great movement, and they scored one. And obviously, the second one, is on Alexander Romanov for not pinning Jesper Bratt, and then unfortunately just hit like 6 bodies. So essentially, I'll say he gave up, 1 goal, and then Romanov screwed him over on that second goal. But yeah, the Islanders, they did what they had to do. I mean, they went into the Prudential Center and they won. And then Sorokin, big part of that. Obviously, that's an underrated move by Matthew Darche by firing Pierre Greco and getting Sorokin's old KHL goaltender coach in the mix. And it seems to be working right now. Maybe it was a wake-up call for Sorokin. I'm not quite sure. But clearly it was a good decision by Matthew Darche. And he's showing early on why he's such a talented general manager and what he's willing to do for the New York Islanders. And he's willing to do anything to get them to win hockey games. And that's what you want out of a general manager. I think Patrick Waugh coached a very good game today. Obviously, some of the line combinations are a little odd. I mean, I think I kind of want Barzal back with Horvat and Heineman. I think that would probably be, I think Holmstrom and Peugeot are very good together, so I kind of want them to be playing with each other. But nothing really too harsh there. I don't want to rag on because the Islanders did win this game. And now we're going to talk about that power play goal that Barzal scored, and it was nearly a disaster at first. Polak makes a horrible drop pass right in front of Sorokin, and Barzal, I don't know what devil it was, but just with a beautiful stick play, chips it around, follows the puck, gets it up to Drouin, sneaks on to a breakaway, and scores the game-winning goal, and the Islanders win. And I want to say the Islanders, great mindset. Great mindset, because, giving up a goal with only 4 seconds left, obviously you think that might kill your mood, kill your mindset. It did not affect the Islanders whatsoever. They were ready. They were ready for that overtime, and they showed out. They did great work there in that overtime, and Barzal was able to score. And now, obviously, the Islanders improved to 8-6-2 on the year, 18 points. The Devils fall to 11-4-1. Obviously, it's kind of annoying that we gave the Devils a point, but in the grand scheme of things, probably won't mean anything because the Devils are a very good team. So it's just best possibility that we got 2 points instead of the 1. And yeah, you can't really focus on the other teams right now. You just got to focus on yourselves. It's still an early season, long season to go. And the Islanders are playing better hockey than I think a lot of the fans thought, a lot of the media people thought. They're playing a solid brand of hockey right now. I think they have the most players in the NHL over 10 points. I mean, what the hell is that? When is the last time that the Islanders are an offensive team who have the most players over 10 points in a season? That is insane. That is crazy to me. And the Islanders continue to just improve offensively. And obviously the defense needs some work still. You need players like Romanov, D'Angelo, and Mayfield to play better. I think Schaefer is actually so good that he made Mayfield look competent. But since Mayfield went with Romanov, that just looks like a disaster. But I do like, Mayfield I like Schaefer playing with Polak. I think that's a solid pairing with those two guys, and, it helps them out. But yeah, the Islanders do win 3-2 in overtime. Obviously, like I said, kind of frustrating that they gave up that, last second goal. But hey, what are you going to do? They still win it, and it was an exciting game. And again, the Islanders continue to be an exciting team to watch here in the hockey. And I know that's a shock to a lot of people. Not a lot of people would think of that. And the Islanders got outshot this game. The Devils were, they were clicking. The Devils did not play bad. This wasn't a, Devils off game. No, the Devils played good, and the Islanders just were able to compete and win this game. Devils obviously had 35 shots in goal to the Islanders 25. The Islanders did win 54.8% of the faceoffs, so the Islanders continue to be a very solid face-off team, and the Islanders with 17 hits, Devils with 13 hits, so a good physical game, except when Romanov needed to be physical. But yeah, the Islanders, win it. I do have one little more gripe that I wish the Islanders wouldn't do. When the net gets emptied by opposing teams, they really just fire it down instantly without thinking of a different possibility, a different route to take. They just always fire it and it becomes icing. And, that icing by Anders Lee, Hughes was out there for 2.5 minutes. Hughes, Meyer were out there for 2.5 minutes. They were gassed. You can't ice it in that time because the Devils then are able to call the timeout, get the guys rested, and of course they made the Islanders pay for it. But like I said, it was Romanov's fault. But yeah, the Islanders still win that game. And then they did a weird review on it. I don't know what they were reviewing. I was hoping that some by miracle it got called off, but obviously there was nothing there. But yeah, great game by a lot of the offensive players on the Islanders. And it's a weird thing to say because in previous seasons, when you're talking about the good players, you're usually only talking about the defense. Now you're talking a lot about the forwards who are playing great. And yeah, it's just awesome to see. I mean, Bo Horvat, what a season he is off to. What a year he's off to. And I was very critical on him in the preseason, pre-games. Said we need him to finish his goals more often, and he just continues to be scoring. Barzal, of course, was great. Like I said, the only people on this offense that I can't see any success, can't talk positives, is Zizekas and Siplikov. But besides them, everybody, was playing good. I thought Duclair had a very solid game tonight. Who else? I thought Holmstrom played good. Obviously, I'd like Holmstrom to be back with Pajot. I think those guys click. Anders Lee had an okay game, but he stepped it up when he needed to do. And then JG Pajot has been one of the most solid players on the Islanders this season for me. I know a lot of people wanted him traded, but he just continues to impress defensively, offensively, getting opportunities for the Islanders, and I'm glad to see it. Glad to see with how he's been playing. But yeah, that's going to do it. The Islanders win a very exciting game against the New Jersey Devils. Was happy for that one. They give the Devils the first loss they have sustained this year at the Prudential Center. And now, obviously, the Islanders do beat both the Metropolitan teams in the Rangers and the Devils. And now the Islanders are heading out west to play the Vegas Golden Knights, which is going to be a tough game. I have the game on. The Golden Knights are playing right now against the Panthers, I believe. It's on my TV in the other room. So I'm going to watch that and, scout a little on the Golden Knights. But yeah, it's a tough schedule the Islanders have on this road trip, and they've started out pretty solid. Let's hope they can keep it up. But yeah, that's going to do all for today's video. As always, leave comments down below. I'd love to get, the comment section up going again. I was unable to do it in the last episode, was having some technical difficulties and everything, so I just wasn't able to do it. But I'm looking forward to seeing the comments and getting that part of the channel back up for the video that will air tomorrow. So yeah, be sure to leave your comments down below. And then as always, let's go Islanders.